What's up, Home Slices? It is Kiara with Home Slice Adulting, and I'm coming to you with a new segment that I'm going to call Reality Review. I didn't feel like setting up my camera right now, and I have to go to work tonight, so I figured I'd just do this on my phone. The reality review is basically going to be just a review that I'm going to do on multiple reality shows, as opposed to doing an individual video for each one and having to edit each video and all that kind of crap. So yeah. So here we go. First, we're going to start off with Braxton Family Values. And the first thing I want to do is apologize. Not really apologize. Maybe, I guess I call this a retraction. I don't know. But I made a video about Braxton Family Values and Miss Evelyn and how I felt like she had moved on with her life and that she just didn't want to be in the presence of the woman that, turned her life upside down. But after the conversation she had on the second to last episode, I really don't feel that way anymore. I do think that a big part of her has not moved on as much as she said that she's moved on. And she's, was like, I don't know who brought Miss Wanda to Mexico trying to elicit some type of reaction from me. And she's like, well, I have no reaction. And I'm like, well, you left the country when they showed up, so to me that's a reaction, but whatever. I think she is still harboring some bad feelings, and I think that we have all just scratched the surface with how much Miss Wanda has interrupted her life, because we do learn some new things about the nature of Miss Wanda and Miss Evelyn's relationship. But we'll get to that later. So first off, I want to say Toni Braxton and Birdman, I just never understood that relationship. I'm very confused. And I probably always will be. But anyways, the girls, Trina and Tawanda, called Tamar and Toni and say, we had dinner with mom and it's clear that she's really not over it. We need to have at least, one big discussion with the rest of us about what happened in Mexico and see if we can help mom get some closure. And they think that Miss Evelyn needs to speak to Miss Wanda. Now, while I do think that Miss Evelyn does need closure, I think involving Miss Wanda in that is not a good idea. But, Miss Evelyn does agree to have a discussion about Mexico with all of the girls together. Tawanda talks about her divorce, and it's very nasty, and Andre is playing games, trying to keep the kids from her and trying to get all the properties from her or whatever. And Miss Evelyn suggests, that Tawanda just be nice to get whatever she wants from Andre. But whatever. Andre is probably too smart to fall for that anyway. So we see Toni talking to Tawanda, and Toni is afraid to go and travel with Birdman. I'd be afraid to travel with him too. But I think he's just trying to take their relationship to the next level as far as getting some booty is concerned. But anyways, Toni is like, I'm afraid to be happy. And I really get that. I felt that way before, so I get it. But still, Toni and Birdman, really? Okay, anyways. So, Toni's been having some voice issues. And we find out that Andre has called Tawanda. And Tawanda has to go all the way back across the country to talk to Andre. And I think she may have taken a page out of Miss Evelyn's book. Because she was very nice in traveling from Los Angeles to Atlanta to have this hour conversation with Andre. So, but he did have something important to tell her. But anyways, Andre and Tawanda are sitting down to have dinner, and he says that if Tawanda was with somebody else, that he would disappear, and that he would make a conscious decision to not be in her life anymore, which I think is like kind of rude and very silly. he probably does still have feelings for her, after them having been married for so long. But he said like he would come to the kids' graduation, but she wouldn't know that he was there. Just little stupid stuff. I think he's just being very petty at this moment. And so Tawanda was like, well, I guess therapy didn't help. And I'm like, did they just go to one session? Of course, one session isn't gonna fix somebody who is as stubborn as Andre. And at first, the whole thing seemed to be going poorly until he said that he made a decision to have joint custody of the kids, and that was what was best for the kids. And I honestly think we know Andre was trying to test her love for her children, and I think that by Tawanda leaving her, sisters in LA and flying all the way across the country to meet with Andre in Atlanta to discuss the kids, that was his final test for her, to let her know that she cares about what happens with the kids more than she cares about, hanging out with her sisters, who he accused her of always leaving the kids with him, to attend to her sister's needs. So he decided, on joint custody, and they had a discussion about the properties, and he can have the LA property. But Tawanda was going to keep the Maryland and Atlanta properties, which to me was very fair. And yeah, so everything kind of worked out for good. And so Tony is talking to Tamar, and we see Tony is having more health/voice issues. And Tamar made a suggestion that I didn't think was that bad, and she said, what you can do is just take some time out and just go traveling with your boo. And I don't think that would be a really bad idea for her, to just put music on the back burner and enjoy her life and, work on her relationship with this dude that I really can't see her being with. But that's okay. It's not me. It's not my life. It's time for the family dinner, and we see that Tawanda reveals to everybody that, hey, my divorce is final. And they're like, what, already? Like, she is a secret squirrel, according to them. So Tawanda definitely, I guess, wasn't keeping them in the loop as much. So one minute, y'all having a custody battle, and then the next minute, hey, we're actually divorced and it's final. So yeah, that was interesting. Tony's doctor says that her lupus has begun affecting her voice and has inflamed whatever muscle is inside of her larynx, and that's really unfortunate. And Tony says that she's depressed about it. And one thing that I feel is that Tony has not done the best job of figuring out how to, is parlay the right word? Tony hasn't done the best job of figuring out how to take the fame and fortune that she made as a singer and parlay it into something else. For instance, Tawanda has this show, but Tawanda has a rental property. Tawanda also has a little, she has a company where she trains personal assistants called the Secret Squirrels. Like, she has little side businesses and things that help her and bring in money that way. And while I can't 100%, say that for Tony, I have not seen that she has done anything to market herself or her brand outside of singing. And because singing is her everything and she may not have a backup plan, I could see how it would be very depressing for her to be losing her voice at this point. So anyways, they're joking around about, now that Tony, is having problems with her voice, that she can rap, and she does this little rap that was actually pretty funny regarding Tamar. But anyway, they finally get down to the nitty gritty and talking about the Mexico trip, and Tamar brings it up as awkwardly as possible, but whatever. So it's clear that Miss Evelyn absolutely thinks the worst of her ex-husband and his new wife. The girls actually talked about how genuine the conversation that they had was, and how Michael Braxton told them that the reason that he didn't come to certain events or whatever was because he had to put his foot down and let them know that they couldn't tell him what to do, as opposed to his wife holding him back and saying, hey, if they don't invite me, then you can't go either. And so Miss Evelyn really kind of didn't believe that. She was like, well, he's full of lies and he's probably told her lies. And, even Tracy, who stayed relatively quiet, spoke up and said, I don't think that was the case, because Miss Wanda was very affected by everything that went on and she got very emotional. So apparently, this is when we find out a little extra about Miss Wanda. But Michael Braxton claimed that Miss Wanda was his coworker, which might have been true. But she would come by the house when she threw birthday parties for him, or whenever they had their 25th anniversary party. Homegirl went to the actual, event, went to the actual anniversary party. And so I could definitely understand that she is very upset by everything that happened. I mean, if this person has been coming around you and has, been in your house with your children, it definitely makes things worse. But so much time has passed. I think Miss Evelyn's anger is disproportionate to the time that she has had to heal. But she thinks that, Michael Braxton and Miss Wanda are very unhappy and that they always want to be in her space. And while I can say that that's true in some circumstances, I don't necessarily think it's true here. I do think, however, that Michael Braxton and Miss Wanda need to respect that Miss Evelyn does not want them to be in her space together, or particularly Miss Wanda. But anyways, Miss Eve feels like the girls are a little too quick to say that it's not all Miss Wanda's fault. But anyways, Miss Evelyn really didn't understand why the girls felt that they needed to talk to Miss Wanda. And they explained to her, there were a lot of things that needed to be said, some things that needed to be cleared up. And I think it was very good for the girls to talk to Miss Wanda. Now, Trina thinks that Miss Evelyn needs an apology from Miss Wanda, but I think that Miss Evelyn needs an apology from Michael Braxton, because Miss Wanda knew that Michael Braxton was married, clearly, but Miss Wanda didn't have the duty to be, faithful to Miss Evelyn. So, but anyways, Miss Evelyn didn't feel like Miss Wanda would apologize, because Miss Wanda, she's under the impression that Miss Wanda feels like she didn't do anything wrong. But anyways, that's the end of the season. And this season was actually a lot more interesting than the previous season. So if they come back with another season, I'm definitely going to watch, because if Miss Wanda and Miss Evelyn get together, it's definitely going to be a throwdown. So I will be watching. But anyways, let's move on to Iyanla Fix My Life. Now, I am a big fan of Iyanla Fix My Life. I'm a big fan of Miss Iyanla. I think that she tells it how it is. She has a very unique way of doing things and talking to people and doing illustrations and visual learning and all that kind of stuff. And what I found this time around with the Family of Lies segment was very interesting. With the mother, her name is Alicia, and she has 6 daughters whose names that I can't, recall off top. But, the 6 daughters didn't grow up together. Some of them were given away and raised by other family members. And we found out that, the mother was sexually assaulted by a family member. And, from some side conversations that have happened on social media, the result of that incestuous sexual assault was the oldest daughter, Shay. I think that was her name. And so it was revealed that the oldest daughter was basically a product of incest and sexual assault. And then we find out that the oldest girl and the mom have had a relationship with the same woman. And it's like there's so much going on, especially between those two. And for the The first time, well, this is not the first time, because the Michael Jackson's nephew, the episode about him, didn't have any updates at the end of the episode. But this time around, there were also no updates at the end of the episode, and I think that the Fix My Life experience for this family did wonders for the sisters between each other, but I do not think that it did wonders particularly between the mother and the oldest daughter, or the mother and the daughter who was given away and had to be raised by other family members, because that same girl was sexually assaulted by the same person who sexually assaulted her mother. So basically her mom gave her away to a family who sexually assaulted her, and co-signed on her daughter having the same fate as she did. So yeah, I think I would say for the first time, I feel like Iyanla Fix My Life didn't have as big an impact as it should have. But I do pray that family, is working on it and getting it together. Oh, and lastly, we'll talk about growing up hip hop. Now, I watched the first look, and I haven't seen a full episode, but I'm kind of interested in it. I don't know, but I'm a little apprehensive because it's a little mobbish, having people coming, like sending people to go beat somebody up. And I think that's like, I mean, shows have drama, but that type of drama I'm not a huge fan of. So if you guys like growing up hip hop ATL, put it down below in the comments. I might watch it and maybe include it in my next reality review. So thank you guys for watching. Put your comments down below if you want to talk about Braxton Family Values, Iyanla Fix My Life, or growing up hip hop ATL. Peace out, home slices.